Why do you cry?
Because I watched Terminator Genisys. Okay, that was the worst impression I've ever done on this channel. Hey there guys, how are you? And today, we're reviewing Terminator Genisys, the latest letdown of sequels in the Terminator franchise, after T2 Judgment Day. And speaking of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is arguably one of the best action movies ever made, in my personal opinion, it is the best action movie ever made. That movie came out in 1991, and ever since then, we've all been waiting for a really good Terminator sequel. And we still haven't quite got it yet, have we? So what is Terminator Genisys all about? Well, bear with me as I try to explain the most convoluted plot of the Terminator franchise yet. This movie undoes everything cool and likable that the previous installments did. Now let's continue on talking about the plot of this film, and that's my first major issue with Terminator Genisys, the plot to the movie. To sum it up, the villainous Skynet in this film takes the form of an app that you can download on your smartphone. Yeah, it's essentially Google+. It'll destroy your fucking life. Now here's what I don't like about this aspect of this movie. It's almost like they're just taking what's popular now, downloading apps on your smartphone, and turning it into something bad so we can all relate to it. So what, I download an app on my smartphone, how does that make missiles launch out of silos across the planet and destroy all of humanity, which was the concept that we were supposed to buy into in every other previous movie. And that's just one example of the many things that this movie switches up, just for the sake of switching it up. Now let's talk about the best thing that this movie has going for. Arnold Schwarzenegger is back as the T-800, the likable cybernetic organism, and on a side note, I just think Arnold is the most likable, charismatic actor. If you want to call him an actor, I just call him a personality that happens to be in movies. And at one time he had big, buff, oiled up muscles, which I fell in love with at a young, tender age. That sounds weird. Let's just keep going. And in all seriousness, when it comes to Arnold, he's one of the most iconic human beings alive today. And it's really cool to see him back as the cybernetic organism, the T-800, because he made the Terminator franchise what it is. If it wasn't for Arnold, no matter how good these movies were, with another actor, I don't think the pop culture phenomenon behind them would exist, because no one can deliver a one-liner like Arnold can.
Cyberdyne systems will come online July 7th, 1997.
I can't even do it. Let's just keep going. And the film also stars actress Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor. And I really didn't buy into her as the mother of John Connor in this film. I buy into her as the mother of dragons in Game of Thrones. I think she makes her a better Daenerys Targaryen than she does Sarah Connor. Now those were my initial reactions to her as Sarah Connor in this film, but about 45 minutes into the movie, I came to the conclusion she's doing everything she can with this character, and at times she really does resemble a young Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton. But you know what the biggest problem is? The script for the movie just makes her character awful and cringeworthy at times. So once again, it comes back to the script of this movie. It's almost like it was written by a 12-year-old boy who had some good ideas while playing with his action figures, but couldn't tie all the dots together, so in the end he just came up with some random bullshit to glue it all together, but really it falls apart instantaneously when you think about it for 5 seconds. Now let's continue talking about some other people in the movie. Now if you think this review sounds like a rant I'm hating on Terminator Genisys, well, you might have a point. But just wait until we talk about Courtney in this movie as Kyle Reese. And does actor Courtney pull off that iconic role? I would say absolutely not. Courtney is a very uncharismatic actor. He's almost like just a taller version of Sam Worthington. They're both very bland, they're lucky to be in movies, and I don't know who they sold their soul to get into Hollywood productions, but they're there. Yeah, when it comes to actor Courtney, I don't think he belongs in movies. He should be working at a Disney theme park as a live-action stand-in for Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. And by the way, on a quick side note, has anyone ever seen this movie right here? If you haven't seen it, don't. Please, don't do it. Anyway, that was another franchise action sequel letdown, also featuring Courtney. And he was awful in that movie as well. Now, a few years back, we had another Terminator sequel by the name of Terminator Salvation. And say what you will about that movie, but at least Christian Bale's take on John Connor, I could buy into it. I bought him as a leader and a badass. And in this movie, Jason Clarke's attempt at all of those things doesn't quite pan out for me. Actor Jason Clarke in this film as John Connor just didn't feel like he had what it would take to be a leader of the Resistance. He just seemed like some guy who might polish shoes for the Resistance, and I wasn't buying into him whatsoever, and throughout this entire movie, he overacts every scene that he's in. And my biggest complaint with his character in this film is his character throughout this entire movie. There's about 4 or 5 scenes where he does the exact same thing, where he gives these 5-minute diatribes of dialogue explaining the convoluted plot to the movie. Yeah, his character's only there to spit out exposition about random convoluted bullshit that Skynet's trying to attempt. There's one scene that takes place in a parking garage in this movie where he's confronting a few other characters and he talks for 5 or 6 minutes about Skynet's plan, and you're just like, I get it, they're evil, they're gonna kill you, why are you still talking? That's a bathroom break scene. So if you have to urinate, get up and do it right there when they're in the parking garage. That's my advice to you. Now, this is a Terminator movie, and let's set aside all the convoluted subplots and bad acting and miscast characters, and let's just talk about the action elements of the movie. Now, here's the best possible way I can describe the way that the action is presented to you in this movie. It's almost like someone watched Fast and Furious 6, and they're like, let's add Terminator into that movie. And that's how this movie feels. It feels like a Fast and Furious movie with the Terminator in it. All the action sequences in this film have a lot of fast cuts, and they feel overly polished with a layer of CGI on top of it. It's like when I watch movies like Terminator Genisys, I just want to go tell the future scriptwriters of other installments and sequels of the Terminator franchise, please, while you're writing the script, go back and watch Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Look at those action sequences. Look how they still live up to today's standards and how good they are and memorable they are, and they really put you on the edge of your seat and make you feel immersed into that sequence. So here are my final flicking thoughts on the movie Terminator Genisys. I will say the first 30 minutes of this movie are the most entertaining moments of the entire movie. Throughout the first 30 minutes, they're basically recreating scenes and elements from the original Terminator film that took place back in 1984. Now, is Terminator Genisys a good sequel in the franchise of Terminator? I would say no, it's a letdown at best. Is this a good movie if it wasn't even connected to Terminator whatsoever, if it was just an action movie? I would still say no, it's a convoluted mess of mediocreness, and no one's going to be talking about this movie 6 months from now. This is not going to live on in time. Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 did that because, well, they were good fucking movies.
Terminator Genisys. You dominated.
Now, I'm going to give the movie Terminator Genisys a D, and the reason I'm giving this movie a D is because, like I said, the first 30 minutes were mildly entertaining, and Arnold's in the movie. And anytime you put Arnold in a movie, well, it at least has that to look at and watch and like. Anyway, guys, that's my take on this movie. Now, here's my question to you, and let me know down below, what did you think about Terminator Genisys, or what is your favorite Terminator movie of all time? And by the way, before I go, speaking of Arnold as the Terminator, check out this really cool t-shirt design right there. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That comes from a website called Gold Diggers Epidemic, who published the comedy book Celebrity Divorces, Gold Diggers Are Cheaper Than Prostitutes. Ain't that the truth? The book pokes fun at celebrities who have enormous settlements to their spouses. You can check that book out at the website along with celebrity characters such as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Charlie Sheen, and Anna Nicole Smith, and various other t-shirt designs on their website. And the coolest thing is, if you guys would like a chance to win a free t-shirt design, go to the link down below, go to the website, sign up for the book and site updates, and yeah, you guys are entered in for a chance to win a free t-shirt. So anyway, guys, definitely check out the website, link down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you next time.